Port Charles has never seen a wedding day so catastrophic. As the guests arrived in designer gowns and sharp tuxedos, and the florals lined the Corinthos estate in ivory and blush tones, no one knew that the most devastating betrayal was about to unfold. Sam McCall, once silent, composed, and seemingly moved on, would choose this moment to expose Drew Kane's most destructive secret. The fallout? The end of a father's dreams, a mother's final line in the sand, and two children torn in the middle of an explosive custody war. The Corinthos estate was abuzz with anticipation. Sonny, now semi-retired from the mob life, had opened his home for a high-profile wedding. Drew Kane and Dr. Sofia Navarro, a brilliant psychiatrist who had helped half the town recover from their trauma. The guest list included nearly everyone in Port Charles: Elizabeth, Finn, Jason, Carly, Brooklyn, Chase, Olivia, Ned, and even Diane. Sam McCall walked in with poise, her hand resting on Scout's shoulder while Danny walked beside her. The children were dressed perfectly, Danny in a miniature suit and Scout in a pink satin dress, blissfully unaware that their world was about to shift dramatically. Jason eyed his ex with concern. "You sure about bringing them here?" he asked quietly. "I'm not here to cause trouble," Sam replied, her voice clipped and unreadable. "But they deserve to see the truth. All of it." Earlier that morning, Sam had met with Diane Miller in a secluded corner booth at Kelly's. "I have proof," Sam whispered, sliding over a manila envelope. Inside were bank transfers, offshore accounts, and most damning of all, a secretly recorded conversation between Drew and a familiar face, Cyrus Renaud. Diane paled. "Drew funded Cyrus? Are you absolutely sure?" "He laundered money from Aurora to help Cyrus buy silence. He claimed it was for protection, for leverage over someone else. But it doesn't matter. He made a deal with the devil. And that devil is still walking around town. Sam, if this is real, it's not just about you and Drew. This could open the door to federal charges." Sam clenched her jaw. "I don't care about the charges. I care about Scout. I care about Danny. And I care about the fact that the man I once trusted with my children's lives has been lying every single day." As Drew stood at the altar, dressed in a crisp black tuxedo and radiating charm, the music swelled. Sophia entered, radiant in a silk gown that shimmered like moonlight. Guests smiled, whispering about how happy Drew finally looked. Just as the officiant began to speak, "We are gathered here today," Sam stood. "I object." A collective gasp rippled through the crowd. Jason immediately tensed. Carly muttered, "Oh God," under her breath. Drew froze. "Sam, don't do this." But she stepped forward, her heels echoing through the tense silence. She reached into her bag and pulled out the envelope, holding it like a weapon. "This man, this father of my child, this supposed role model, he has betrayed everything he claims to stand for. I have evidence that Drew Kane has been in financial alliance with Cyrus Renaud. He's been laundering money through Aurora Media. And I'm not going to stay silent anymore." The guests erupted in shocked gasps. Sophia's bouquet dropped to the floor with a soft thud. Drew's face flushed. "That's not what you think." Sam interrupted. "Then explain the wire transfers. Explain the phone recordings. Or, do you want me to play them right here?" She clicked her phone. Cyrus's voice filled the air. "Don't worry, Drew. As long as you keep your end of the deal, I'll make sure your secret about Afghanistan stays buried." Silence. Jason looked physically ill. Carly's face twisted in betrayal. "Afghanistan? What secret?"
Drew staggered a step back.
Sam continued. "Drew didn't just make a deal with Cyrus. He covered up an incident from his Navy SEAL days. A mission gone wrong. He wasn't just a victim of memory mapping. He was hiding who he was before the memory swap." Sophia, still standing before the altar, removed her engagement ring with trembling fingers. "I loved you, Drew. I believed you were honorable. I believed you were safe." She turned to the guests. "I'm sorry, but I can't marry someone who lies for a living." She walked out in tears, leaving Drew alone at the altar. Dante, who had remained quiet until now, approached Jason. "This isn't just scandalous. This could implicate all of us in past Aurora dealings. The feds are going to eat this up. Sam didn't stop there. I'm filing for sole custody of Scout and Danny, she declared, now standing squarely in front of Drew. And I've already spoken to the judge. Given your criminal ties and your financial fraud, you're going to lose them. Drew's eyes flared. You would do that to me? After everything. Sam's voice cracked but held firm. I would do anything to protect my children. Anything. Drew tried to grab Scout's hand, but the little girl flinched. Jason stepped between them, protective. Back off. You're one to talk, Drew spat at Jason. You're not even Danny's father anymore, not legally. But I've never lied to him, Jason replied coldly. The guests began to leave in stunned silence. Olivia Falconeri comforted a shell-shocked Sophia. Elizabeth and Finn whispered in stunned disbelief. Carly grabbed Sam's arm in the hallway. Was it all true? Yes, Sam replied. Every word. Then you did the right thing, Carly said, tears shining in her eyes. Even if it tore everything apart. Meanwhile, Diane met with the judge the next morning, submitting the evidence for an emergency custody order. By midday, Drew's parental rights were suspended pending a full investigation. Locked in his penthouse, Drew poured himself a scotch and smashed a glass against the wall. The media was already reporting the story. His company was crumbling, his reputation was in ashes, and his children, his heart, were gone. He dialed Nina, the only person who hadn't called him yet. I made a mistake, he whispered. You made more than one, Nina replied coldly. You brought this on yourself. And then she hung up. Back at Sam's house, Danny sat quietly in Jason's lap. Is he coming back? Jason ran a hand through his son's hair. Not for a while, buddy. Your mom and I are going to make sure you and Scout are okay. Danny looked up. You're not mad at him? Jason paused. I'm sad, but I'm not mad. People make choices. And then they have to live with them. Sam watched them from the hallway, tears spilling silently down her cheeks. With Drew's fall from grace, Scout and Danny began to rebuild their lives in a new routine. Jason taking Danny to martial arts, Sam walking Scout to school. But Drew wasn't finished. Not by a long shot. In a shadowed office across town, he met with an unknown figure. I want custody back, Drew said, voice steely. Whatever it takes. The figure handed him a flash drive. Then you'll have to fight dirty. Are you ready for that?
Drew closed his eyes, then nodded. Yes.
I've lost too much. I'm not losing my kids. Stay tuned, General Hospital fans. The battle for Scout and Danny is only just beginning. As Sam takes the high road, Drew might be ready to go rogue. With Jason and Carly in Sam's corner and Port Charles on edge, can anyone stop the Kane storm about to blow through town?